Gele Kesla, Nugo am Iksam Gilagrame, aka Loose Lips, aka J-Mac, aka Julia. Today we're going to learn how to tie a few knots and also how to use those knots to make yourself a nice cozy little shelter. So come with me and let's learn some stuff. So you all received a tarp and about 20 feet of rope. So what I'm going to need you to do is cut that rope into 5 pieces, so about 4 feet per length of rope. And then likely you'll have these frayed ends here, so what you can do with that is just burn them off. Remember to do this in a safe space, and if you're not comfortable with it, you don't have to do it. It's not necessary. It will be hot at the ends here, so just let it cool down before you touch it and work with it. So we're going to learn the clove hitch. So what we use the clove hitch for in this tarp is to secure our ghost heads. And what's a ghost head, you might ask? It is a very spooky part of the tarp. So first you're going to need to grab something to make the ghost head. So I grabbed some rocks here, but feel free to grab some leaves, some pine cones. You could use some dice if you have some at home. And so we'll take a corner of the tarp. We put our material in the corner. So you see the grommet here. We put it up from the grommet in the corner of the tarp. And then you fold it up to make your ghost head. So now that we got our ghost head, to secure that, we're going to tie a clove hitch. So I'm going to put my ghost head down for now. I'm going to grab the rope. Here's our working end. We're going to go a few lengths from the working end and make a loop. So remember, a loop is when you have your rope crossing on itself. Then we're going to go a length from there and make another loop. So you got 2 little looped bunny ears here. And what we're going to do is we're going to take that second loop, this one here, and bring it behind that first loop. Not like that. Hold on to that. Let's grab that ghost head again. And we're going to put the ghost head into your 2 loops and pull it nice and tight. Nice and secure. And there, you got your little ghost head. So there is another way we can tie our ghost head, or our clove hitch. We could go around, take the working end, go around, and when you come back around, we're going to go around a second time, but you want to make sure you put a little cross there. And now we're going to come back around again, under the standing end, and then take it and go underneath itself. And tighten that. And there you got a clove hitch again. So we have our ghost head on one corner. So what I'm going to get you to do now is put a ghost head on each of the corners. And then you also want one in the middle on the short side of your tarp. We're going to learn the bowline. So bowline, useful to tie off as your main anchor. So you'd probably use it on a big tree. So I want to go around my beam here. You have the working end, standing end. So what I'm doing is I make a loop on the standing end here. What's really important is that your loop, the part that's on top, is the part that's going towards your anchor, towards the standing end of your rope. So you have your loop here. We take our working end, we bring it through the loop, go under and around the standing end, and then back through your loop. And then you pull tight, like that. Alright, so now we're going to learn the trucker's hitch. Trucker's hitch is a super handy knot to know how to do. It makes a line nice and tight. So what I've already done here is I've tied off the other end just using our slip knot that we learned earlier. And now I'm going to put it around what I'm going to tie it off on. So that could be a tree, a branch, a root ball. If you're tying it in your house, it could be a beam, it could be a chair, just something that's sturdy enough and strong enough to hold the rope as you tighten it. So what I'm going to do, so I have it around my beam here, and I'm going to start work on the non-working side. So remember, this is the working end here, and on the other side here is the non-working end. So I'm going to start there. I'm going to give myself a little bit of slack on the working end. What I'm going to do here is just pinch a piece in my hand, see, like this, and my hand's facing towards you. Now I'm just going to twirl my hand so that it's facing you. I'm going to pinch that off with the other hand, place my hand as it was before, facing you, and twirl it again towards you. So essentially you do two 180 twirls there with your hand. Now I'm going to put my thumb and index finger through through that loop, and go and pinch a piece of rope that's going towards the working end. So it will be going towards what you are wanting to tie off on. And so we're going to pinch that piece of rope and pull it through. So here you see we get a nice figure 8 on a bite here. So now I'm going to focus on the working end. Now I'll bring the working end towards that figure 8 on a bite. Pull it through, pull it back against itself. And now you could start just pulling it nice and tight. Make it as tight as you want to make it. And so when you're ready to tie it off, what I like to do, we don't want to, go to tie it off and then it slackens up and then you lose all that work you just made. So to keep it nice and taut, I put the palm of my hand over the figure 8 here, and then my fingers I pinch at the end of the bite where the working end is going through. So that makes sure that the rope doesn't slip and I don't lose any of that tautness that I worked so hard for. So now we're going to tie it off. We're just going to throw in a couple of half hitches, what we learned before. Alright, there you go. Go give that a try. Trucker's hitch. Half hitch. finding anchors. All right, come this way. All right, so we're in my backyard. There's not really any roots or anything in the area I'm gonna build my tarp. So I came over here and found all these rocks, and there's some wood here that we could build some little anchors with as well. So I'm gonna grab some of those. So first thing I did was I tied the middle ghost head that's in the shorter side of your tarp with a bowline to my first anchor, and that anchor you want to be really sturdy and strong. And then after that, what we're looking for this type of shelter is to have these two ridge lines here. So what I did first, so I came to the bottom here and tied off this one to make this nice little ridge line, and then the other side here for this ridge line. Afterwards, you could tie your two front corners and you could tie them off to their anchors. And you can play around with the shape. So if you want this side here to be a little bit lower, you could bring this line down. If you want these to be more closed in, you could bring your anchor closer and tie your trucker's hitch a little tighter. But the essential thing to remember is to make sure that you have these two ridge lines. I want to explain this anchor a little bit more. It's great in areas where maybe there's not a tree to tie off of or a bush or anything. So what I did was I grabbed 3 sticks that are pretty sturdy. They're like, you can't grab rotten sticks. You want ones that are still really strong. And it's easier if you sharpen, you want to make stakes essentially. So if you sharpen the one end, or if they already have a sharpened end by the breaking. And then what I did was I put this one in first, and I kind of put it in on an angle, and with it going in towards the tarp. And then to give it even more stability and strength, what you do is you grab the other two and you cross them over that original one. And then you take your rope and you go all the way around all 3 of the stakes. So here we have it. Here's our little shelter. This one's great for sleeping under. What you would do, you would place another tarp underneath, set up your sleeping bag and sleeping mat, and yeah, you'll be kept nice and dry. Rope management. So you want to keep all your ropes all bundled up nicely so they don't get all tangled. So what we do is you put the rope in between your thumb and your forefinger, make your hands, like, spread out your fingers, and then start wrapping the rope around your hand. Then once you got a couple feet at the end, you take it off your hand, and then you start wrapping it around your little bundle. So you kind of make an 8. And then here, let's call this the working end. You put it through the top part of the 8 and then back under itself to tighten and to keep secure. And there you go. Alright, good job everyone. Yeah, tying knots is really hard. And be gentle with yourself and easy on yourself as you learn how to do this, because it takes a lot of practice, and sometimes it takes watching a few videos or hearing it taught a different way. So if you're struggling with a knot, I urge you to YouTube some other videos on those knots and just keep practicing. and be easy on yourself. It's very difficult. But thank you for joining me today, and see you on the way.